The phone glows. Their name. A message. Unread. You tap. Scroll. Pause. The urge pulls. Not to speak. Not to mend. To see. To know. One more glimpse. One more check. The screen holds nothing new. Yet you return. Every night. The same loop. The same quiet ache. A reflex, not a choice. Each tap, a thread tying you to what's gone. Why do you search for what left? The answer isn't there. It never was. You think one more look will explain, will settle the weight. But the weight grows. With every glance, you feed it. Not them, not their absence. Your own hand tightens the chain. Each check, a crack. Not in them, in you. The system frays. Presence slips. Clarity fades. You don't see it. Not yet. But the cost builds. Silent. Unseen. Every return erodes what holds you. Not their choice. Yours. The loop runs because you let it. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Epictetus. The screen isn't your chain. Your finger is. The choice to tap or to stop. One builds pain. The other, stillness. No one else decides. No one else sees. Only you stand at the edge. Are you checking for them or for your own loss? The question isn't kind. It doesn't need to be. It cuts to where you stand. Repeating, clinging, not to them, to the reflex, to the loop. You thought you moved on, but the screen says otherwise. The loop runs until you cut it. You think closure comes from answers, from their words. From one last talk, you tell yourself, understanding will free you. Their reasons will lighten the weight. A final message will end the ache. You draft the text, rewrite it, delete it. The urge stays. You believe, knowing why, will let you go. It doesn't. Answers chain. They pull you back to the same loop, the same pain. You seek their truth, but find only your own clinging. The weight grows, not from their silence, from your chase. You think you need their voice to move on. You don't. Their words are noise. Your silence is the cut. You don't explain to loss. You withdraw. Cut one. The urge to explain. The words form in your head, on your screen. A message, a plea, a question. Why did it end? What went wrong? You think, if you could just say it, if you could just make them see, the pain would lift, the fog would clear. You draft, you erase, you draft again. The urge burns, not to reconnect, not to fix, to explain, to lay out the truth, as if truth could pull them back, as if truth could pull you out. Each word, a hook, not for them, for you. You think the answer lies in their reply, in their nod, in their understanding. You're wrong. The urge to explain, it's not about clarity. It's about clinging. You don't need their agreement. You don't need their reasons. But you act like you do. Every unsent message, a weight you choose. Every rewrite, a loop you run. The system jams. Not because they left, because you keep asking. You keep reaching for what's gone. The cost isn't their silence. It's your own. Each attempt steals presence. Each draft buries stillness. You don't see it. Not yet. But the machine grinds. Slower. Heavier. With every word you don't send, but still write. Seneca said, "What need is there to weep over parts of life The whole of it calls for tears.
Their answer isn't your freedom. Your voice isn't their chain. You don't need to speak to be whole.
You don't need their eyes to see. The urge to explain, it's a reflex, not a truth. It's a trap you set for yourself. Stop. Don't write. Don't send. Say less. Let the silence hold. It's heavier than words. It's stronger than reasons. Silence doesn't beg. Silence doesn't break. Step back. The screen waits. The cursor blinks. You don't have to fill it. You don't have to fix it. Breathing through. The urge passes. The weight shifts. Not because they understand. Because you stop needing them to. The loop doesn't own you. Not now. Not if you choose. Hold the line. Say less. And the chain snaps. You don't owe anything. The silence settles. A moment. A breath. The urge to explain fades. But another pulls. Not words this time. A glance. A check. The screen still calls. Cut 2. Checking their life. The screen lights up. Their profile. A new post. A new story. You click. Not to speak. Not to reach. Just to know. Are they happy? Are they better? Without you? The images flash. A smile. A place. A moment you don't share. You scroll. Deeper. The pain twists. Not loud. Not sharp. A quiet ache. Growing. You tell yourself it's nothing. Just a glance. Just a second. But seconds stack. Minutes bleed. You're not watching them. You're watching yourself. Lose ground. Each check. A step back. Each swipe. A crack in your frame. You think you're learning. You think you're preparing. For what? Their joy doesn't change your truth. Their life doesn't hold your clarity. But you keep looking, as if their world explains your loss, as if their light dims your shame. It doesn't. Every check feeds the loop, not their story, yours. The system falters, not because they moved on, because you didn't. You don't see it. Not now, but the cost mounts. Silent, unseen, presents slips with every tap. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Their posts aren't your chain. Your hand is. The choice to click or to stop. One builds emptiness. The other, ground. You don't need their life to live yours. You don't need their smile to stand. Not checking is the cut. Turn the screen off. Let the glow fade. The urge rises. Let it pass. Breathing through. The weight lifts. Not because they're gone. Because you choose to stay here. The phone sits, dark, still. You don't touch it. The loop hums, but you don't answer. Not checking holds the line. The void is where it clears. A rope phrase. You pull harder. It snaps. Let go. Hold stronger. The quiet settles. The screen stays dark. But another pull comes. Not their face. Not their world. A memory. Sharp. Unasked for. It plays. Again. Cut 3. Clinging to memory. A moment flashes. Their voice. A laugh. A night you can still taste. It comes unbidden. In the quiet. In the dark. You don't call it. It arrives. You let it play. Not once. Again. Again. You think it keeps them close. You think it keeps you whole. The memory glows. Warm. Sharp. You hold it like a blade. Not to heal. To feel. To stay where you were. Each replay, a choice. Not to move. To cling. You don't see it. Not yet. But the frame bends under the weight. The memory isn't them. It's you, refusing to let go. Each loop steals presence. Each scene builds regret. Not for what was, for what you make it. You think holding it holds you together. It doesn't. It pulls you apart. The system stalls, not because they left, because you stay. In a moment that's gone. The cost isn't the past. It's now. Every replay dims clarity. Every pause deepens the cut. You're not living. You're looping through a shadow. Compare two paths. One, you grip the memory. You play it. You sink. The pain grows not from their absence, from your grasp. The other, you let go. You let it fade. You stand. The weight lifts, not because the past changes, because you do. Epictetus said, "Don't let the force of an impression carry you away." The memory isn't your truth. It's your reflex. Breathing through, it passes. Let go, it dissolves. You don't need it to be. The scene plays. You don't pause. You don't rewind. You breathe. The image blurs, and you stay. Stillness holds stronger than memory. Let go isn't weakness. The air clears. The memory fades. But another tug pulls. Not a scene, not a face. A need to be seen by them. Still. Cut 4. Seeking their approval. The thought creeps in. Quiet. Unseen. What do they think of you now? Are you enough? Were you ever? You don't ask. You don't call. But you wonder. You shape yourself in their shadow. A post you make. A choice you weigh. Their eyes. Imagined. Judge. You think if they saw you, if they approved, the pain would lift, the doubt would fade. You're not living for you. You're living for a nod that never comes. Each thought, a chain. Each glance back, a pull. You don't see it. Not yet. But the system bends under their ghost. You seek their approval, not to win them. To win yourself. You think their gaze defines your worth. It doesn't. Every hope for their nod surrenders self-command. Every moment spent in their shadow steals ground. The cost isn't their silence. It's your own. You don't need their eyes to stand. You don't need their voice to be. But you act like you do. The loop runs, not because they left, because you chase what's not yours. Marcus Aurelius said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Their approval isn't your truth, your choice is. You don't need their light to see. Withdraw. Step out from their shadow. Breathing through, the urge fades. The weight lifts, not because they see you, because you see yourself. The trap isn't them. It's you, reaching for what's gone. The thought comes. You let it pass. No post, no proof. You stand alone. Withdraw, and the chain breaks. Detachment is a form of respect. A man sat alone, months after. He posted, hoping she'd see. Nothing changed. One day, he stopped. The quiet held him. The ground holds. The shadow fades. But another pull rises. Not their eyes, not their voice. A weight you bury deep. Cut 5. Suppressing pain. The ache sits, heavy, behind the chest. You don't speak it. You don't show it. You move. You work. You smile. The world sees nothing. You bury the pain deep where no one looks. You tell yourself it's strength. You tell yourself it's control. Keep it down. Keep it quiet. Don't let it break the surface. You function. You deliver. You're fine, you say. But the weight grows. Silent. Unseen. Each push down. A crack. Not in the world. In you. The system strains under what you hide. Suppressing isn't power. It's a delay. You think you're winning by locking it away. You're not. Every buried ache festers. Every silenced hurt builds numbness. Not peace, not clarity. The cost isn't the pain itself. It's the fight against it. You don't erase it by ignoring. You deepen it by denying. The loop runs, not because they left, because you refuse to see. The machine slows, not from their absence, from your silence against yourself. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The pain isn't your enemy, your resistance is. You don't need to hide, to stand. You don't need to bury, to live. Sitting with it is the cut. Face it. Observe it. Don't fight. Don't flee. Breathing through, the weight shifts, not because the pain leaves, because you stop pushing it down. The trap isn't the hurt, it's you, running from what's true. The ache rises. You don't flinch. You don't hide. You sit. The quiet holds. Stronger than denial. Pain doesn't mean truth. The weight settles. The quiet stays. But another pull comes. Not buried now. Loud. A question. You chase for answers. Cut 6. Chasing closure. The question burns. Why? Why did they leave? What broke? You turn it over. In the quiet, in the dark, you seek an answer, a reason, a key to unlock the pain. You think, if you could know, if you could understand, the weight would lift, the fog would clear. You chase, not them, not their voice, their logic, their truth, as if their words could set you free, as if their reasons could mend the cut. You draft a message. You imagine their reply. You wait for a door that's locked. Each thought a step deeper into the loop. Chasing isn't clarity. It's a trap. You think their answer holds your peace. It doesn't. Every question tightens the chain. Every imagined reply feeds anxiety. Not truth. Not closure. The cost isn't their silence. It's your pursuit. You don't need their why to stand. You don't need their key to move. But you act like you do. The system stalls. Not because they left. Because you keep running after what's gone. The loop spins because you turn it. A locked door doesn't owe a key. Marcus Aurelius said, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Their reasons aren't your ground. Your choice is." You don't need answers to be whole. Step back. The question fades. Breathing through, the urge dissolves. The weight shifts, not because you know, because you stop. Seeking what's not yours. The trap isn't the unknown. It's you. Chasing what won't serve. The question rises. You don't follow. You stand. The door stays shut, and you walk away. You can end without drama. Why did they leave? Does it change your next step? Number, then let go. The air stills. The chase ends. But another pull creeps in. Not a question, not a face, a voice, yours. turning inward. Cut 7. Overthinking their motives. The voice whispers. Late. Alone. Why did they do it? What did they feel? You turn it over. Again. Again. Their silence. A puzzle. Their absence. A code. You think, if you could crack it. If you could map their mind, the pain would fade. The weight would lift. You replay their words, their looks, their last moment. You build stories, reasons, truths that aren't there. Each thought, a thread, pulling you deeper, not to them, to the maze. You don't see it. Not yet. But the system spins, faster, heavier, with every why. Overthinking isn't insight. It's a cage. You think their motives hold your clarity. They don't. Every guess tightens the loop. Every story steals presence. Not theirs, yours. The cost isn't their choice. It's your chase. You don't need their mind to stand. You don't need their truth to be, but you act like you do. The machine jams, not because they left. Because you keep digging for what's gone. The trap runs because you feed it. Epictetus said, "There is only one way to happiness. Cease worrying about things beyond your control. Their motives aren't your ground. Your thoughts are. You don't need to know, to move. Pause. The spiral slows, breathing through. The voice quiets. The weight shifts, not because you understand, because you stop chasing shadows. The maze isn't them. It's you, building walls where none exist. The thought comes. Why? You don't follow. You breathe. The puzzle lies, and you walk past. Stillness is enough. The maze fades. The voice quiets. But another weight stirs. Not their motives. Not their truth. Your own. Guilt. Heavy. Unasked for. Cut 8. Holding on to guilt. The weight settles. Quiet. Deep. You did something wrong. You weren't enough. You missed the sign. Or made the cut. The thought loops. In the silence. In the dark. Guilt. Not loud. Not sharp. A steady press behind the chest. You carry it. You don't speak it. You think if you hold it tighter, if you punish yourself, the pain will justify itself. The loss will make sense. You build a case against you. Each fault, a brick. Each regret, a chain. You don't see it. Not yet. But the system cracks under what you won't release. Guilt isn't truth. It's a reflex. You think blaming yourself explains the end. It doesn't. Every self-accusation feeds shame. Every what if steals clarity. Not theirs. Yours. The cost isn't the past. It's the present. You don't need to atone to stand. You don't need to pay to be. But you act like you do. The machine stalls. Not because they left. Because you keep sentencing yourself. The loop runs because you hold the gavel. Seneca said, "No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to want what they don't have." Guilt isn't your debt. Your choice is. You don't need to fix what's gone. Unhook. The fault isn't fact. Breathing through, the weight lifts. Not because you're absolved, because you stop building the cage. The trap isn't them. It's you, clinging to a verdict that's not yours. The thought rises. You failed. You breathe. You let it pass. The gavel drops, and you walk free. You don't have to react. Seneca, exiled, wrote, "No need to mourn what's gone." He sat in silence, So can you. The cage opens. The weight fades. But another pull comes. Not guilt, not blame. A need to fill the void with noise. Cut 9. Reacting to their absence, the void hums. Their absence, a hole. You feel it. In the quiet, in the routine. You don't sit. You don't wait. You move. You fill it. A text to someone else. A scroll. A drink. Anything to drown the silence. You, racked. Not to them. To the emptiness. You think noise will close the gap. You think motion will erase the weight. It doesn't. Each distraction, a thread, pulling you further from yourself. Each fill, a crack, not in the void, in your frame. You don't see it. Not yet. But the system falters under what you won't face. Reacting isn't control. It's surrender. You think filling the space builds strength. It doesn't. Every text deepens the loop. Every scroll delays stillness. The cost isn't their absence. It's your flight. You don't need noise to stand. You don't need motion to be. But you act like you do. The machine stalls, not because they're gone. Because you keep running from what's here. The trap runs because you feed it. Marcus Aurelius said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The void isn't your enemy. Your reaction is, you don't need to fill to live. Hold the line. Face the quiet. Breathing through. The urge fades. The weight shifts. Not because the void closes. Because you stop chasing noise. The trap isn't the silence. It's you fleeing what holds you. The void hums. You don't move. You sit. The silence stays. And you stay with it. Silence isn't surrender. The quiet holds. The noise fades. But another pull stirs. Not motion, not sound. A hope, blind, reaching back. Cut 10. Hoping for return. The thought flickers. Soft, unseen. They'll come back, they'll see, they'll change. You don't say it. You don't chase it. But it lingers. In the quiet. In the pause. A hope, blind, pulling you back. You picture it. Their call. Their words. A moment where it's undone. You think, if you hold on, if you wait, the loss will reverse, the pain will fade. You hope blindly, not for them, for the past, for what was. Each flicker, a thread, tying you to what's gone. You don't see it, not yet, but the system bends under what you won't release. Hoping isn't strength, it's a chain. You think their return holds your peace. It doesn't. Every wish tightens the loop. Every weight steals presence. Not theirs. Yours. The cost isn't their absence. It's your anchor. You don't need their step to stand. You don't need their voice to be. But you act like you do. The machine stalls. Not because they left. Because you keep holding a door that's shut. The trap runs because you let it, Seneca said. You must let go of the life you planned to live the life that awaits you. Their return isn't your ground. Your choice is you don't need them to move. Disengage. The hope fades. Breathing through, the weight lifts. Not because they come back, because you stop, waiting for what's not yours. The trap isn't the past. It's you, clinging to a shadow that doesn't serve. The thought rises. They'll call. You breathe. You let it pass. The door stays shut, and you build your own. Not doing is power too. A man checked her posts daily. 6 months lost. One day, he stopped. Clarity returned. The hope dissolves. The door fades. But another pull creeps in. Not their return. Not their face. A need to justify to others. Cut 11. Explaining to others. The question comes from a friend. A glance. A pause. What happened? Why did it end? You feel it. The pull. To explain. To lay it out. To make it clear. Not for them. For you. You think, if you could frame it, if you could make them see, the pain would lift, the invisible weight would show. You start, you stop. The words form, but they tangle. You try again. Each sentence, a thread, pulling you into their eyes. You don't see it, not yet, but the system strains under what you justify. Explaining isn't relief. It's a trap. You think their nod will ease the ache. It doesn't. Every word feeds the loop. Every story steals silence. Not theirs. Yours. The cost isn't their question. It's your answer. You don't need their understanding to stand. You don't need their frame to be. But you act like you do. The machine jams, not because they ask, because you keep pouring words into the void. The trap runs because you let it. Compare. 2 paths. 1. You speak. You justify. You spill. The pain grows, not from their doubt, from your need. The other, you say less. You nod. You move. The weight lifts. Not because they get it, because you stop needing them to. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Their eyes aren't your truth, your silence is. Not explaining is the cut, breathing through. The urge fades. You don't owe a story. The question lands. You breathe. You say nothing. The air holds, and you walk past. Saying less holds more. The words fade. The need quiets. But another pull rises. Not their questions, not their eyes. A fear of being alone with you. Cut 12. Avoiding solitude. The quiet presses. Alone. The room. Still. No voices. No noise. Just you. The urge rises. To flee. To fill the space. A call. A screen. A task. Anything. But this. You escape. Not from them. From yourself. You think solitude will break you. You think silence will swallow you. You move. You distract. You drown. The isolation. Each action, a thread, pulling you from your ground. You don't see it, not yet. But the system frays under what you won't face. Escaping isn't freedom. It's a cage. You think noise shields you. It doesn't. Every distraction deepens the void. Every flight steals stillness. The cost isn't the quiet. It's your running. You don't need company to stand. You don't need sound to be. But you act like you do. The machine stalls not because they're gone, because you keep fleeing what's here. The trap runs because you feed it with motion. A lone tree stands taller. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. The silence isn't your enemy. Your fear is you don't need to fill to live. Stay still, face the quiet, breathing through, the urge fades.
The weight shifts, not because the room fills, because you stop running from yourself. The trap isn't solitude, it's you chasing noise over truth.
The quiet hums. You don't move. You sit. The silence holds, and you grow within it. The void is where you grow. 80% of people avoid solitude after a breakup. Each escape delays clarity. The silence settles. The fear fades. But another pull creeps in. Not the quiet, not the void. A lie. You tell yourself, it's not over. Cut 13. Denying the end. The thought whispers, soft, persistent. It's not over. They're still there. A chance. A thread. You hold it. Quiet. Unseen. You don't act. You don't speak. But you believe it's not done. You see signs. A like. A glance. A memory. You twist. You think. If you deny the end, the pain will wait. The rejection will bend. You cling, not to them, to the lie. Each hope, a crack, not in the truth, in your frame. You don't see it, not yet. But the system falters under what you won't face. Denying isn't power. It's a trap. You think holding the lie keeps you whole. It doesn't. Every false hope feeds the loop. Every twisted sign steals awareness. The cost isn't their absence. It's your refusal. You don't need the story to stand. You don't need the chance to be. But you act like you do. The machine jams, not because they left. Because you keep rewriting what's written. The trap runs because you let it. Marcus Aurelius said, "What need is there to make a shadow of what is no longer? The end isn't your chain. Your denial is. You don't need to pretend to live. See, the truth cuts. Breathing through, the lie dissolves. The weight lifts, not because it's undone, because you stop holding what's gone. The trap isn't the end. It's you chasing a ghost that doesn't breathe." The thought rises. It's not over. You breathe. You see. The lie fades, and you stand in truth. Detachment is seeing truth. The truth settles. The lie fades, but another pull creeps in. Not a hope, not a sign, a reflex to speak, to explain again. The truth cuts. The reflex kicks. Words rise, unbidden. You want to explain. Again. Not to them, to someone. Anyone. A friend, a stranger, yourself. You think? If you could frame it, if you could make it clear, the pain would loosen. The loss would fit into a story. You start. You stop. The words spill, then stall. You try again. Each sentence, a weight, not lifting you, pulling you back into the loop. You don't see it, not yet, but the system strains under what you repeat. Explaining isn't freedom. It's a chain. You think words will carve a path. They don't. Every story feeds the trap. Every retelling steals silence. Not theirs, yours. The cost isn't the question. It's your answer. You don't need to justify, to stand. You don't need to clarify, to be. But you act like you do. The machine slows, not because they're gone, because you keep weaving a tale that binds you. The loop runs because you spin it. Seneca said, "While we are postponing, life speeds by. The story isn't your ground. Your choice is. You don't need to speak, to move.
Say less. The urge fades. Breathing through. The words dissolve. The weight shifts. Not because you're understood. Because you stop needing to be. The trap isn't the silence. It's you. Filling it with noise that doesn't serve. The urge rises. To speak. You breathe. You hold. The silence stays. And you stay with it. You don't owe anything. A woman told her story to every ear. Months passed. No peace. One day, she stopped. Stillness found her. The silence holds. The words fade. But another pull creeps in. Not a story. Not a voice. A fear of the quiet. Alone. The quiet presses. The room empty. No sound. No one. Just you. The air feels thin. Too still. You reach for the phone. A voice. A screen. Anything to break the weight. You escape. Not from them. From this isolation. You think solitude will unravel you. You think silence will crush. You move to drown it, to fill the space. Each action, a thread, pulling you from your center. You don't see it, not yet, but the system bends under what you flee. Escaping isn't relief. It's a cage. You think noise saves you. It doesn't. Every distraction deepens the void. Every flight steals ground. The cost isn't the quiet. It's your running. You don't need others to stand. You don't need sound to be. But you act like you do. The machine stalls, not because they left, because you keep dodging what's here. The trap runs because you feed it with motion. Epictetus said, "You become what you give your attention to." The silence isn't your foe. Your fear is. You don't need to fill to live. Stay still. Face the quiet. Breathing through, the urge fades. The weight lifts, not because the room changes, because you stop fleeing yourself. The trap isn't solitude. It's you chasing noise over truth. The quiet hums. You don't run. You sit. The silence holds, and you rise within it. The void is where you grow. Why do I feel so empty? Because you run from it. What if I stay? You'll see. The silence settles. The fear fades. But another pull stirs. Not the quiet. Not the void. A lie you hold. It's not done. The lie creeps in. Soft. Unseen. It's not over. There's still a chance. A sign you weave. A message you misread. You hold it quiet. You don't act. You don't speak. But you, Denny, the end. You think if you keep it alive, if you twist the truth, the rejection will fade. The pain will wait. You see what isn't there. A hope not real. Each belief a crack. Not in the world. In you. You don't see it. Not yet. But the system falters under what you won't release. Dennying isn't hope. It's a chain. You think the lie holds you together. It doesn't. Every false sign feeds the loop. Every held chance steals awareness. The cost isn't their absence. It's your refusal. You don't need the story to stand. You don't need the dream to be. But you act like you do. The machine jams, not because they left, because you keep painting a past that's gone. The trap runs because you let it. Marcus Aurelius said, "What need is there to make a shadow of what is no longer?" The end isn't your cage.
Your denial is. You don't need to pretend to live. See, the truth cuts. Breathing through. The lie dissolves. The weight lifts. Not because it's undone. Because you stop holding what's gone. The trap isn't the end. It's you chasing a ghost that doesn't breathe. The lie rises. It's not done. You breathe. You see. The shadow fades, and you stand in truth. Detachment is seeing truth. A man kept a photo, hidden. He looked daily, no peace. One day, he deleted it. The quiet returned. The truth holds. The lie fades. But another pull creeps in. Not a dream, not a sign. A need to be seen. By them again. The truth cuts. The reflex stirs. You imagine their eyes, their nod. What do they see in you? You don't ask. You don't reach. But you wonder, are you enough? You shape yourself for their gaze. A choice you make, unseen. A post, a moment. You think their approval will heal. Their glance will lift the weight. You seek, not them. Their validation to prove you're still here. Each thought, a chain, pulling you back. You don't think it, but you feel it. The system bends under their shadow. Seeking validation isn't power. It's a surrender. You think their eyes define your worth. They don't. Every hope for their nod erodes your own ground. Every moment in their light dims your clarity. The cost isn't their absence. It's your pursuit. You don't need their approval to stand. You don't need their sight to be. But you act like you do. The machine stumbles. Not because they're gone, because you keep chasing a mirror that's not yours. The loop runs because you let it. Marcus Aurelius said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Their approval isn't your truth. Your choice is. You don't need their light to see yourself. Withdraw. Step out from their shadow. Breathing through. The doubt fades. The weight shifts. Not because they see you, because you see yourself. The trap isn't them, it's you needing their gaze to feel alive. The thought comes. You don't shape it. You breathe. You stand alone. Witness your own truth. Detachment is a form of respect. The shadow fades. The need quiets. But another pull creeps in. Not their eyes, not their voice. A weight you bury, deep, unseen. The ache sits, heavy, unseen. You don't name it. You don't show it. You move through the day. You work. You nod. The world sees nothing. You bury the pain deep, where no one reaches. You think it's strength. You think it's control. Keep it down. Keep it silent. Don't let it surface. You function. You perform. You're fine, you tell yourself. But the weight grows quiet, relentless. Each push, a crack. Not in the world. In you. You don't see it. Not yet. But the system strains under what you suppress. Suppressing isn't mastery. It's a delay. You think locking it away builds you up. It doesn't. Every buried hurt festers. Every silenced ache breeds numbness, not peace. The cost isn't the pain. It's your fight against it. You don't erase it by hiding. You deepen it by denying. The loop runs, not because they left, because you refuse. to see what's there. The machine slows, not from their absence, from your own war with truth. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The pain isn't your foe. Your resistance is. You don't need to bury to stand. You don't need to hide to live. Sit with it. Face it. Observe. Don't fight. Breathing through. The weight shifts. Not because the pain vanishes, because you stop pushing it away. The trap isn't the hurt. It's you running from what's real. The ache rises. You don't flinch. You sit. You breathe. The quiet holds, stronger than denial. Pain doesn't mean truth. 70% of people suppress grief after a breakup. Each buried feeling delays stillness. The weight settles, the quiet stays. But another pull creeps in. Not buried pain, not hidden truth. A reflex to fill the void with noise. The void hums, their absence, a gap. You feel it in the stillness, in the routine. You don't pause, you don't sit. You fill it, a text to someone new, a scroll, a sound, anything to cover the emptiness. You react, not to them, to the quiet. You think noise will close the space, motion will erase the weight. It doesn't. Each distraction, a thread pulling you from yourself. Each fill, a crack, not in the void, in your frame. You don't see it. Not yet. But the system falters under what you won't face. Reacting isn't strength, it's surrender. You think filling the gap builds you. It doesn't. Every text deepens the loop. Every scroll delays stillness. The cost isn't their absence. It's your flight. You don't need noise to stand. You don't need motion to be. But you act like you do. The machine stalls. Not because they're gone. Because you keep running from what's here. The trap runs because you feed it with chaos. Marcus Aurelius said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The void isn't your enemy. Your reaction is. You don't need to fill to live. Hold the line. Face the quiet. Breathing through, the urge fades, the weight shifts. Not because the gap closes, because you stop chasing noise. The trap isn't the silence. It's you, fleeing what holds you. The void calls. You don't answer. You sit. The silence stays, and you stay with it. Silence isn't surrender. A woman drowned the quiet. With calls, with screens, no peace. One night, she stopped. Clarity returned. The silence holds, the noise fades. But another pool stirs. Not motion, not sound. A hope, blind, reaching back. The thought creeps in, soft, unbidden. They'll return. They'll see. They'll regret. You don't voice it. You don't chase. But it lingers in the quiet, in the pause. A hope, blind, pulling you back. You picture it. Their step, their words, a moment, undone. You think, if you wait, if you hold, the loss will fade. The pain will lift. You hope blindly, not for them, for what was. Each flicker, a thread, tying you to what's gone. You don't see it, not yet, but the system bends under what you cling to. Hoping isn't peace, it's a chain. You think their return holds your peace? It doesn't. Every wish tightens the loop. Every weight
steals presence. The cost isn't their absence, it's your anchor. You don't need their return to stand. You don't need their voice to be. But you act like you do. The machine stalls, not because they left, because you keep holding a door that's shut. The trap runs because you let it spin. Seneca said, "You must let go of the life you plan to live, the life that awaits you. Their return isn't your ground. Your choice is. You don't need them to move." Dies Engage. The hope fades. Breathing through, the weight lifts, not because they come back, because you stop waiting for what's not yours. The trap isn't the past. It's you, clinging to a shadow that doesn't breathe. The thought rises. They'll call. You breathe. You let it pass. The door stays shut, and you build your own. Not doing is power too. The hope fades. The door closes. The quiet settles, and you stand alone with what remains. The phone sits dark. The room still. Hands rest on nothing. No hum, no pull, just you, breathing. The air heavy, but it holds. A moment, not chased. Not filled, not explained. You didn't reach for the screen. You didn't draft the words. You didn't run from the quiet. The urge came. It always does. This time, it passed. A pause, not empty. A choice, not loud. You stood here without reacting, without clinging to their shadow, without burying your truth. The weight, lighter, not gone. Not fixed, but seen. You didn't need their eyes to see. You didn't need their voice to be. The silence, it carries more than you thought. What holds you now? The pain or your presence? The question doesn't demand. It waits, like the quiet, like the breath you take. Stillness is where you begin.